Oh, shattered that fucker. How did I do that? What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode. I appreciate you joining back in on the build. So right now what I'm going to get started on is getting the pistons on the rods. So these are the J32 A1 pistons. I was told that they hold really good power, and then these are just the Chinese H-beam rod. A lot of people have used them and on the J series, and they've made like 900 plus horsepower on these guys. So I know they're capable of what I'm looking for. I'm only looking for like 750, and then these about the same. So what I'm gonna do is I need to reuse the C clips inside of the old pistons, and then I'm gonna swap them into over here. So probably gonna get a few other things done for the motor, like I'll probably hone the block out and get it cleaned off really good. But for now, we're just going to get this going, and then we'll start on some other things. But stick with me, guys, and we'll get finished with this build pretty quick. Alright guys, so real quick, I'm just going to show you how I take out the C-clips. It's pretty easy. I just kind of get it into a close spot to the lip there, and I grab onto it with pliers, and it pops right out. So that's it for that, and then we're going to start putting the wrist pins into the new pistons and rods. Alright guys, so I'm not really too sure what happened, why I didn't record, but I did. I just got done gapping the rings and setting the rings on the pistons. So what I did, I'll just kind of explain what I did just because I wasn't able to record it. So the cylinders are marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's, you know, how I did it. And I had the piston set up 1 to 6, and then all the rings set up 1 to 6 for the first and the second ring, and then the all rings and you know, just go on there. So but what I did was, for the top ring I set it at 19 thousandths, and then for the second ring I set it 24 thousandths on all 6 cylinders. Once I got done doing that, so what I did was I had a vise up here, and then I just put the Dremel in a vise and slowly grinded down the rings and just kept checking them, you know, you want to take off just a little at a time and check it, just because you don't want to shoot over that mark. So but yeah, I got all of those finished, and then now what I'm going to do is flip it over and get the crank in there with the bearings and plasti gauge it, just to make sure it's, you know, in spec and really close to spec, and you know, get all that stuff set up. Once I get those all measured, I'm gonna put some assembly lube, torque down the crank, and start putting the pistons in, and hopefully be pretty much done with the bottom end. So we'll get to that and you know, keep going. So you can see I put the plasti gauge on there. Now I'm going to put the cap on it, but I'm going to do it to all 4, torque it down in spec in sequence, and then loosen them all and check them all, and kind of, you know, see what the gauge is. So it shows on here, you know, what it should be. I'm wanting to get to that 0.002, so that's what I want to see. I don't know if you can let it focus in, but anyways, yeah, 0.002 is what spec should be, so we'll go off of that. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest on there, and then I'll show you me pulling them off and then measuring them. Alright guys, so I got everything on. I actually started putting them on backwards, so they're in the correct spot now. So now I'm going to put the bolts in it, torque it to spec, and then we'll pull them off and check them. So for spec, it does say for these main cap bolts are going to be 55 foot-pounds, and then I'm just going to do the main caps, because if you look, it shows on the torque sequence, it goes 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm gonna torque it just like that, loosen it, and then check it. Alright, so I'm gonna try and show what it roughly shows right there, so you can see how it flattened out the plasti gauge. So when I go to line it up, it lines up about 0.015 there. So that's you know, roughly what it says on all of them. Now I'm checking the spec, make sure that's, you know, give or take what it should be, and hopefully it is. I mean, if I looked up spec, it's close enough, so I'm not really gonna be too worried about it. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put assembly lube, throw the crank in, get it torqued down, fully set up, and then we're going to flip it over and start putting the pistons in. So I'm just going to throw you on a time lapse to do that. I mean, it's nothing too crazy, super simple, so we'll just get to it. So just a quick little side note, always make sure the grooves are out. So that's against the block, that's against the crank. So I got the rotating assembly all inside of it. Everything's torqued down, pistons in it, all that good stuff. So now I'm just going to start by putting the oil pump on it, and then just that main sill plate back there, and get the windage tray on it, and then the oil pan, and the bottom end will be done. And then once I get the valve springs and retainers, I'll be able to put the heads back together and throw them back on, because as of right now I'm kind of stuck where I'm at, so I can't really do much once I finish this. But I'm not gonna record it. I mean, it's all simple shit, so I'm not gonna, I mean, it's not very interesting either, so I'm just gonna knock it out real quick and be done with it.